So September has begun. It is actually September 3rd, and the reason why I haven't done this video earlier is because I've been sick all weekend. So I've had to delay it a day or two just because my voice was so bad. You could probably still hear it, but regardless, we have a new month, which means we have a new monthly awards program. And of course, I make mock-up card arts and attributes, and I predict them all. So today we're going to be doing that for the August Player of the Month program. So starting with the pitching captain, as I always say, the captains are kind of just like a complete guess, and I typically like to do legends who have had cards that expired who were in previous sets. And another thing that you're going to see with some other cards is I made this entire presentation on the 29th of August and the 30th of August. So a couple of my pitchers had a really bad last starts, which kind of ruins it, but I'm just saying that because Eric Gande got another 99 in the XP reward path. But I mean, I could see a 95. I just don't really think it's gonna happen anymore. But still, I mean, I just don't really have the time or energy to make a new one. But Eric Gande, he would be a really cool monthly awards captain. It wouldn't make sense anymore, but I didn't know that he was gonna get a 99. And for the hitting captain, I just threw in Greg Vaughn because he only has one, did he get a 92? He might have had a team captain now that I think about it, but he hasn't had any cards in a long time. And the only 99 he has was from set 1, so 95 overall monthly awards captain would be pretty cool. I mean, he would have really good power against righties. Lower contact though. Now for the actual Player of the Month cards, we have Bowden Francis, relief pitcher from Toronto. He had a great month. And another thing too is these stats might be a little inaccurate because they're from like the 30th or the 29th. So it might not count for like one more day, but it's relatively the same except for 2 pitchers, which I will bring up when I get to them. But Bowden Francis had a great month. And the thing about him is he is a high stamina reliever. I know that captain is no longer eligible because it was set 2. But it's just a thing to note, 45 stamina. He went multiple innings in a bunch of spots, so it would be a cool card. And then the other 95 reliever is pretty much the same thing. Jojo Romero, 40 stamina, lefty from the Cardinals. He had a great month. Sinker, circle change, 4-seam slider, cutter. So that's a great pitch mix. 99 velo. He would be pretty solid with the per 9s in the clutch, but nothing too special. Now, Kyle Finnegan is a guy who I have noticed has been completely under the radar this year. He's been a great closer for Washington, who's had a sneaky solid year. I mean, they were supposed to be trash, and they're like 8 games below 500. They were supposed to be like really bad. But regardless, I predicted him in the last Player of the Month. He had another really good month, so I'm throwing him on here again. 4-seam slider, splitter, good enough pitch mix for a relief pitcher. So when the Royals signed Aroldis Chapman, everyone was saying, yeah, probably a smart move. You know, you sign him to a 1-year deal. If he goes back to form, then you trade him and you get some good prospects. And that's exactly what the Royals did. They signed him. He had a really good first half. They traded him to Texas. And Cole Reagans is the guy they got back for Aroldis Chapman. He has looked amazing since he got traded to Kansas City. He had a 1.72 ERA with a 1.06 whip. 4-seam circle change, cutter, curveball, so not the best pitch mix, but he's 100% deserving of some diamond card. Should get a Player of the Month card for August. The Cubs have been red hot ever since the deadline, maybe even a little before that, and Seiya Suzuki is a big part of that. He has destroyed righties in the month of August. A lot worse against lefties, but this is a classic example of having a good platoon month. I don't think he's a platoon player for them, but if he got a Player of the Month card, he would be very good against righties. Not amazing versus lefties, but he would have pretty solid arm strength as well. Zach Geloff is one of the bright spots on Oakland this year. Obviously, they've had one of the worst years ever. They're going to finish the year with probably less than 50 wins, unless something happens. But he's been one of the lone bright spots. Him and like Brent Rooker, but Zach Geloff has been very good. Across the board, he's going to be a pretty balanced hitter. I mean, the 95s aren't ever really too good in the Player of the Month programs, but just cool to see if he gets one. Elvis Andrus has actually been pretty good for Chicago this year. I know Chicago has been just really bad overall, but Elvis Andrus has had a good year and a really good month. Hit 333. He's been a bright spot on Chicago's disastrous 2023 season, which is what I put on the custom card. And he obviously is better against lefties and righties, but he would have solid defense as well, so good for him. Now for the lone 96, I have Mauricio Duban, who has been a good utility man for Houston, but he has been really good. I mean, in the month of August, hit 339 with an OPS of 919. This would be a really good utility card. Could play pretty much everywhere. He would be much better against lefties than righties again, but he would actually hold his own against righties, unlike the other cards. Andres Munoz was out for a long time, and he finally came back about a month and a half ago, and he started off a little slow, but he's picked it up as of late. He's had a great month. 8 saves, 2.08 ERA, 1.36 whip. I mean, an Andres Munoz card would be great. Hopefully they give him a sinker instead of a 2-seam. I mean, obviously outlier on the 4-seam, great per 9s and clutch. Hopefully they do his card justice. Brian Abreu, he was so good in the playoffs last year, and he's been very good as well this year for Houston. 97 overall, he didn't give up a single earned run. 4-seam slider slurve, so could be a little better on the pitch mix, but it's good enough for a reliever. Has 99 velo and break, would have really good per 9s and pitch and clutch. Not really much you can ask for outside of like maybe one more pitch. Now Lance Lynn is who I was talking about earlier, and then another starting pitcher as well. Lance Lynn had a really good month, and then when I picked him, he 2.03 ERA, 1.06 whip, had a great month, great pitch mix. And then literally on the 31st, he faced the Braves and he gave up 7 earned runs in 4 innings. So yes, his numbers are probably going to be inflated and those stats are inaccurate. I think his month ERA was like 3.7. But regardless, he still had a great month. I could see them not giving it to him anymore. And yeah, I mean, I could see the argument that he shouldn't deserve one, but he had a great month. Like, he had one really bad start. And Merl Kelly was the other pitcher I was talking about. Again, had a really good month, and then he had a really bad start. Like, he had one bad start, and it actually has the updated stats on this one. But he's been great all year. I mean, he deserves a high. I know he just got a 94 in Team Affinity from one of the classics, but he deserves a Player of the Month card. I know he had one bad start. Would be a really good card with a good pitch mix. Obviously, you would hope for better stats than the ones I have here, but Merl Kelly is deserving. Christian Walker destroyed lefties, like absolutely destroyed lefties in the month of August. Was pretty solid against righties as well. I think I predicted him not in July, but in June, and he didn't get one. Obviously he's always amazing with the club, 99 fielding. But Christian Walker, overall, he's been really underrated in the past 2 years, and I think he's deserving of either a finest card at the end of the year or a Player of the Month card. We all know that Adam Duvall was insane that first week or two, and then he got injured, and then he was like, okay, and then now in August, he went back to being really good. Adam Duvall, he had 303 with an OPS of 1.040. Overall, Adam Duvall, he would be a pretty good hitter, would be better against lefties and righties, and has gold defense, can play first, third, and the entire outfield. So Adam Duvall card would be pretty cool. Max Kepler, God, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'm always petty about this stuff, but I remember when people were comparing him to Aaron Judge. Like, come on now. But Max Kepler finally come around as of late for Minnesota. Overall, pretty balanced hitting stats, would be a really good hitting card. I mean, he had 329 with an OPS of 1055. Definitely at his best month. And the thing about Max Kepler, comparing him to all the other guys that I've shown you in this video, Max Kepler has a lot more balanced splits. Obviously, still a little better against lefties for the power. But if he got a card, he would be pretty balanced for the splits. Diamond defense as well, can play the entire outfield on the first base. Hoping we get a Max Kepler card. Really good swing, too. Starting in the 98s, we have Bruce Dark Gratterall. SDS, please give him a 98. Please. This would be such an insane reliever. It's the start of season 4. We don't have too many good relievers. Like, the good relieving options are very, very, I don't even know what to say. But a Bruce Dark Gratterall, especially in 98, would be perfect. Sinker, cutter, slider, 4-seam. We all know how hard he throws. He throws like 102, 103 with ease. He would have insane per 9s because he didn't give up a single earned run, had a bunch of holds, and a really low whip. So 125 hits per 9 and clutch is realistic. With that pitch mix and very good control, this would be probably one of the best cards in the program. Freddy Peralta had a really good 2021, sort of meh 2022, and he started off a little slow, but he's back to form. He had a really good month of August. 4-seam slider, curveball, changeup, obviously not going to be a great pitch mix, and if he gets a card, wouldn't be like elite, but it would be solid. Good per 9s, good pitch and clutch. He had a great month. Only gave up 2 homers in 30 innings, recording a .6 home runs per 9. Went 5-0 with a 2.1 ERA and a whip of .9. He's deserving for sure. Pablo Lopez just went to Diamond a couple weeks ago in the roster update, and he has continued his dominance ever since. He had a great month for Minnesota. 4-seam circle change, cutter, sinker, slurve. would be a disgusting 98 overall. I mean, the pitch mix is amazing. As long as they don't do him dirty on the per nines, which isn't really that bad on this mock-up, 104 hits per nine, 100 pitching clutch, this card would be gross. Also would have really good control. The next player is Marcel Ozuna from the Braves. I had to say it. Those of you get the joke. But regardless, Marcel Ozuna, 364 average. I mean, 8 homers, 24 RBIs. He was one of the best power hitters, slugging 697 with an OPS of nearly 1.1. Just would be a great card. All around 110, 114 on the contact, 99, 125 on the power with 100 clutch. Obviously not going to have good defense. It's a Marcel Ozuna card, but he would be an amazing hitter. Carri Carpenter, man, he has been really underrated. I feel like the Tigers have had a couple really under the radar hitting seasons. I mean, Carri Carpenter, Spencer Green, what am I talking about? Riley Green. Torkelson is starting to heat up too. Obviously, he was a #1 overall pick, and he's had a slow start to his career, but he's been hitting well. But anyways, Carri Carpenter in August, 348, OPS of 1200. I mean, it's insane. 108, 120 versus right is pretty accurate. He would have really high power against righties, would be pretty solid against lefties as well. 97, 103 with 100 clutch. Gold defense as well, could play the entire outfield in first. Really hoping we get a Carri Carpenter card. Right, Mountcastle, another guy who was insane against lefties. I mean, he's gonna be maxed out against lefties if he gets a Player of the Month card. I think he hit like 450 against lefties or something like that, an OPS of like 1400 against lefties. But regardless, obviously holds his own against righties as well. Going to be a little lower on the vision and discipline side, but a Mountcastle card would be awesome. And then lastly, the Lightning card is so obviously going to be Julio Rodriguez, especially since we got that Mookie Betts card in the Set 4 collection, and makes it an easy prediction for Julio Rodriguez. Unbelievable month. Unbelievable. I mean, he hit 429 with 7 homers and 30 RBIs. He's been the best hitter in the MLB in August, recording an OPS of 1.197. You could probably make an argument for Mookie Betts as well, but obviously he's not going to get it. He just got a 99 in the collection, but he would be insane. Hoping his hitting stats are like these, because if they are, he'd be one of the best cards in the game. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. If you guys are new here, follow me on all my social medias, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I'm not calling it X, by the way. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe right here on YouTube. So yeah, see you guys in the next one. Peace.